Hey folks, Phil the Bee-Man here. I thought I'd tell you today about my hive lids and how I close the feeder holes. I use just a standard migratory end only lid with a rim around the inside. I like to make that about 2 inches, and on the profile it's 3/4 inch plywood and then 1/4 inch on the rim. I bought this plywood before the price went crazy last fall, and I'm glad I did. I should have bought twice as much and sold the rest and covered my margin on it. And then what I really want to talk about is these feeder holes. And I know the standard in my part of the world is these plastic caps. They often come in a couple different sizes. I tended to use the 1.5 inch quite a bit, which fits in there like that and closes that lid nice and snug. But then when you have it out, where does it go? Does it stay on the entrance? Do you put them in a pail and take them home, and then you got to remember when you're going back again? I found these to be, on the nuisance scale, probably about a 7.8 to an 8 out of 10. And that's a little high for my taste. So I was fortunate to buy some lids from a cousin who used, I think it was these ones. And they were a metal flip. I call them a flip, you could call them a cap. And you would just screw it into the lid. Find one here. And then when you wanted it open, you would flip it open. When you wanted it closed, you'd close it. And it doesn't take very long for the bees to seal, to get inside of that hole and propolize it up. You can see over the years how that propolis is built up, and that seals down pretty much instantly when you close those lids. And over the years, I've made lots of my own. I had a bunch of metal kicking around from, I think these were blackboards that I made, and that's why it's dark metal. But this is too light. I don't know what gauge that is, but it's the thickness of you'd use for a hive lid, and that's way too light. This was a heavier aluminum. I think I should get the caliper. Hang on, I'll get the caliper and I'll tell you. Okay, and there you have it, 0.05 of an inch. Whereas the ones that were too light, boy, not a heck of a lot. Well, that's for a lot of propolis. I think I measure in there. Let's find a good spot. A couple mils thinner at 0.03. And once you get that figured out, so I cut these. I've gone larger over the years. I don't know if it's because I'm feeling my wealth or I just don't have anywhere else to spend my money, but I've gone to a 3-inch square. And before you set your hired man to work for a whole day drilling all those holes, I got a trick for that. This is a pneumatic Rivet, crimper, and punch. I think the crimper, I never really try it, but I think it's supposed to create that little lip so that you could go along the whole piece. Oh, look at that. It does do a pretty good job. Huh. Anyway, I never use that side, but the idea is that you'd put that crease in that metal and then you could layer another one on top. I use the other end, which is the punch. To make the holes. This one's already punched, but I'll put it in the opposite corner here. It's that simple. This is, I think, a pretty common tool in a machine shop type place. In Canada, we have this place called Princess Auto, which people have mixed emotions about because they have the tools you want, but probably you'll be back when you want a better one. But for a low use user like me, I'm not building an airplane, I'm just punching a few hundred holes a year. This one works fine for me. Once you got that figured out, then you want to take your number 10. Make sure if you're Canadian, you use a square Robertson hole because it stays on your drill. And if you're not Canadian, well then there's always a next life, I guess. And then you're just gonna put that on here with your impact driver and you're done. And then you really just usually push them open and close with a Hive tool with a hook. And that's all there's to, oh, one last word on this. I do have, and tried, I typically use an 1.5-inch hole. I think one year when I was making these, I don't know if I broke the bit or couldn't find it or what, so I went with a 1-inch hole. No apparent difference in rate of feeding or quite frankly for temperature loss. I mean, it's slightly smaller hole. I guess it's got to conserve some energy, but no significant difference in the Hive's performance either way as far as I could tell. So if you've only got a 1-inch size bit, don't go out and spend a whole ton of money on a fancy bit. Use what you got. All right, I think that's it on the lids. I hear tell that these things are appreciated by crows, and even if the crows don't get them, the UV does eventually. These things break down, and I mean, they're not expensive. And so if you got to replace a few every year, it's no big whoop. But like I said, they were an irritant of one more thing you got to remember every time you went to the bee yard, and that's the sort of thing I try to get out of the operation. So I went with the flip caps and haven't regretted it at all. That's it. Have a great day.